we're going to be doing things a little differently this time. Alright, I guess I'm running the show today, so welcome to Reviewed with SPC Jeff, and I'm Mr. Sex, doing the recording today. Here we have a very special guest, the Radioshack 12250. I'm going to be doing a lot of this episode, you can tell. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns before we get on with this SPC base productions?
Is the backlight constant an option?
Yes. We will see shortly. So, I guess it's time to get on with the menu and setup.
Yeah.
Alright. So, to begin with that, there's a switch on the back. If you can't see it very well, it says program and operate. So we're gonna switch it over to program, and it'll show your channels. That's first up. This thing's antenna is broken, so we'll comment on that later. And on this thing, you won't. It's static right now, but that is a tuner issue where it is accidentally tuned to 161.650 megahertz.
Oh.
And or 162.55, depending on the day. So that's very interesting. So you can just select, then you select yes to bring you to the next menu. And you have your alert type, voice, or if you press no, alert, to change things on this part of the menu, and then you press yes to select what you want. With the continuous backlight, you press yes if you want it, no if you don't, and it moves on to the next option. Then you have single, it goes back to just being able to select with no and going forward with yes. So we'll go single. The all counties, if you want that, is so that's 99. This thing has a keypad too. I will have to go looking for it, but the battery, well, not the battery, the keypad also has a cover. So I'm gonna type in a new location. So I'm gonna type in my my FIPS code 042049. That is for Erie County, Pennsylvania. And then you have your select events. It goes through this menu twice for some reason. So here's the severe thunderstorm watch, severe weather statement, special weather statement, flash flood watch, flash flood warning, flash flood statement, flood watch, flood warning, flood statement, winter storm watch, winter storm warning, blizzard warning, high wind watch, high wind warning, just the whole ordeal, hurricane watch, hurricane statement, coastal flood watch, coastal flood warning, special marine warning, avalanche watch and warning, volcano watch and warning, the monthly test, the weekly test. Well, that's a test message. I don't know what that is actually. Doesn't show the weekly test for some reason, but I think this represents that. And unknowns, and the demo practice test. Select check. Okay, so this is just your selection check, I guess. That's the tone on, everything tone on. If you press yes, it'll give you the tone on. No, if you don't want it to tone that. So I guess I should have specified that sooner. So go through your menu again. And then you're back to the beginning where you started. Now you can flip the switch back to operational mode. So that's the menu and setup. Very, interesting. Not so user-friendly, and it took me, a good couple minutes to figure this one out when I got it over a year ago. But generally, gives you, a a fair amount of control over what you're doing. So I guess I'm gonna say this is good. A good 8 out of 10.
Yeah, same. Pretty good 8.
Pretty good 8. Alright. And now we move on to probably the most iffy part of this entire video due to my habit of not having antennas. The antenna and reception. Let's foreclose for a moment that reception on this thing is not gonna be the best. I do have part of its antenna part of what remains of its antenna over here for a makeshift, and a bit of my WR400 antenna. So we have those. So for a makeshift, so we have those. And just to compare, here's what my ER50 is getting. Where did XMJ330 go?
They disappear on a nightly basis, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. So VFI and Casey. So let's see with our makeshift antenna, which resembles pretty much what the original antenna would kind of look like, because I have part of this being the original antenna. Alright, I can't get this in here, but I'll try. So, set it over to program.
A chance of showers with a slight chance of thunderstorms.
This will be hard to pull off,
Not
but
as cool with lows in the...
Environment Canada is usually a squall warning.
What?
So it's not getting that very well if I just do this. There's a squall warning for Western Lake Erie. Noted.
Oh.
So yeah, you're not going to get very much off of this with your scrap antenna, but when I had an antenna, this thing was actually pretty decent. And this is what the actual antenna looks like, for reference. Oh, well, the part of it that I actually still have. Antenna.
And 10 deagle.
Alright, so notwithstanding my broken antenna, I'd give this a good another 8 out of 10.
I'd say 8, yeah.
And now we move on to the build quality.
Oh boy.
So the first thing you'll probably notice if you get a 12250 is that its cord is literally attached to it. So take that as you will. Take that as you will, but it is quite literally attached by here. So that's pretty epic. You won't lose the cord for it because it is the cord. I'd say, despite the antenna, which got in a snarl with my leg about a year ago. Try drop test here. Laptop forward. It survives. Do not try this at home, kids. Do not try this at home. Mine did not come with a battery cover, but there is one. There should be one on whoever has one. Most 12250s have this. Mine did not come with one. Radioshack. It actually has a list of the channels and frequencies. That's pretty epic. This thing was made... Let's see if we can find that. Does not say. I think this thing was made somewhere around like 2003 or so it's older than I am. And yet it has the early form of the numbering channels by frequency order. Something you really didn't see in like 2003, did you?
Not really. Not too much.
All 7 channels. 2003. Let's go. So that's pretty good. And I guess that also gets the meshing for specialties and whatnot. So I hope I didn't forget anything. Alright, go over here. Alright, yeah.
Talk about the buttons.
Oh yes, the buttons.
78.
They don't actually feel too bad. They feel like old. Like, they're kind of squishy. If this thing would stop making high-pitched noises! They're kind of squishy. Kind of like a mesh almost. Kind of nice. These lights, it has a green statement, yellow watch, red warning, because it's like from 2003. And it's basically a rip-off. It's kind of a rip-off of the 74-200, the cousin of this thing, which was directly ripped off by... I should probably bring the laptop over here if I'm going to mention that. It's a direct rip-off of the cousin of this thing, and that... Yeah, that does bring some similarities to the 12250, but what that thing is really ripped off by is the R1630, but we will get to that in another episode. So, this was generally inspired on the 74-200 and 210, but it does look quite different than both. Keypad. You don't see this on many radios, do you? No, you don't.
7200 does have that exact keypad.
Oh, that's true. But this style, you don't. I mean, the 12249 is literally this thing in white and flipped a little in the design, but you gotta give Radioshack credit. They did pretty well with the keypad. It's not the best to maneuver when you're operating things, but you learn it. You just learn it. Good solid 10 out of 10.
I would probably say 10 too. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty nice.
Pretty average rate radio here. And now we get on to probably the best feature about this radio. The speaker. Look at this. Big beefy, takes up half the radio. Over half the radio, like maybe a good 60%. And mind the compression here on both the crappy laptop video and the Discord, but
50s. Chance of rain 70%. Sunday night, mostly cloudy.
Pretty crisp and accurate.
Partly cloudy. Showers likely.
Literally no complaints here.
Lows around.
Plays what it's told to. Though I'm not a fan of the high-pitched button beeps over here, but if you actually have but if you're actually doing something, it makes a much better beat. Also, I forgot to mention, but you can adjust the tone of the button beeps and the siren on a wheel. Oh, and the volume too. It's a wheel. Oh, and did I mention, if you turn this all the way to minimum and you go further, turns off, turn it back on. So, that's probably a good, like, for a radio this early, like, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
I've only heard it in person once, but it does sound pretty good.
I'm not sure if this is deserving of a 10 or 11. I'll let you be the judge of that.
I would probably say 10.
Good old 10. Good old 10. Alright. And that segues us right into the specialties. 14 minutes of recording later, and now we're already here. I make this sort of thing a lot more streamlined. 750 now. So we're already at the specialties. And we can cover a couple bases here. First of all, keypad. Yes, no. 1, 2, 3. Wait, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. I can dial Environment Canada with this thing. So 1, 8, 7, 7, 7, 8, 9, 7, 7, 3, 3. That's the number for Environment Canada.
You really did it.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Do not call Environment Canada on your 12-250 at 3 a.m. Gone sexual.
Guns. They send a meteorologist to perform cock and ball torture. So yeah. Don't do that at 3 a.m. I mean, it's not going to work anyway, but very nice backlight, lights, all that. Yeah.
We have the baby man now.
What?
We have the baby man now.
We have
Using
the what?
Michael Bass.
Okay. Battery doesn't take modern batteries. It takes one of those old, like, I don't even know what they're called.
9-volt.
9-volt batteries. And select alerts. That was really, like, setting what alerts you wanted it to siren for and what alerts you didn't want it to siren for. That was pretty innovative back in its day, even though it's still ripped off from Midland. But that's still not something you see in many radios.
I do like how it displays
of the era.
The alert level when you're going through that menu.
Oh, unfortunately, it only can store up to 3 alerts. However, there's something else I want to show, and that will probably be the biggest portion of this entire video. You hold off, turn it on. Here we have test mode. So let's go through this. You press much of the keypad, the number buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It'll play your channels just like that. 8, 9, 10. So 8 does default, whatever the hell that means. 9 does demo on or off. I think that might set us back to the original. I don't know. And then 0 does nothing. Yes and no. Turn the light, all 3 lights on and off. The weather button does that. Finally, the alert button is a siren test, and that turns off the weather too. And the off button doesn't really do anything.
A trailing cold
Doesn't really do much of anything. But you get to test your siren level here. If you want it loud, if you want it quiet or loud. And if you press no again, it'll show test mode again. So generally, you can turn it off and back on to bring it back to normal. Except it, for some reason, set the backlight to not continuous. So let's set that back to where it was. I think that was an effective one of the buttons I must have pressed. Okay.
Oh, Ringo twerking.
Oh my god, your cat is twerking. So, that's demo mode. This is a pretty interesting radio for what you had to offer in 2003. It's a small radio, too. Pretty, thin. It's also cheap. You could have, like, 5 of these, and that would cost you about the price, mind you, of, the WRP-50 that I have over here on the dresser. Don't mind the WRP-50 on the dresser. Nobody asked. Nobody cares. I hope nobody asks. So, this thing's probably a good $20 max. Cheap, efficient, works. You can get like 5 of them, 1 for every room. Oh, and I need to set this back to all codes. So let's do that. The all locations is 99. Oh, it already set itself back. Okay, noted. So that's just 99. That's, you set it to single, you set it to 99. That's your all locations. So pretty simple radio, not too bad.
10 out of 10 on Specialties.
You know, 2003 with the demo mode and the alert test. And to make up for all this other shit, I'm gonna say 11.
Oh. Yeah, that is a very unique radio too. So I would say,
Even though it was a ripoff, it still made the best of being a ripoff, and well, earns us an 11 for specialties here. Look at this. Did very well. Radioshack did very well. They knew what they were doing when they copied Midland, except they didn't. I think the 12249 is the exact same thing. So they do sometimes they duplicate their radio models and change things a little. So this is one of those examples. And if you get the 249, it's basically the same thing too. But either way, still a really good radio.
yeah.
And now we move on to our final thoughts with that. So we have done some calculations, and the final score for the Radioshack 12250 is 47 out of 50, or 90. Fuck. 90. God damn it. 94%. 94%. That's a passing score. That's an A. A low A, but still an A.
Pretty good, eh?
Good old A. And with that, that's our 12250 episode 12, and the second episode of season 2. And we'll be back in Jefferson, Ohio, very soon. Enjoy your life in the meantime.
Goodbye, every citizen of the United States.
This is AC, aka Mr. Sex, and
Jeff.
signing out for reviews.